We will open our special meeting at 8:54 p.m. Can I have roll call, please?
Clark,
Present.
Dutra,
Here.
Montesino,
Here.
Parker,
Here.
Quiroz Carter,
Here.
Salcido, Orozco.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. So I guess I'm up next. So good evening, council members. I bring this resolution forward in response to a moment that calls for both clarity and courage. The recent federal deployment of military force into California without a request from our state's leadership has raised serious concerns across the country. This marks the first of such deployments since 1965. Back then, federal troops were used to protect civil rights demonstrators. Today, the context is very different. Peaceful protest is not only protected by the Constitution, it is vital to a healthy democracy. Responding to it with military force sets a troubling precedent. Watsonville has always stood on the side of families, of workers, of those building a better future. Immigrants are not an abstract policy group. They are our neighbors, our essential workers, our small business owners, our classmates, and our family members. They pick the fruit we eat, teach in our schools, serve in our clinics, and shape the rich culture of our city. That is the story of Watsonville and of communities across America. Watsonville has declared itself a sanctuary city, and that commitment should mean more than words. It should mean safety, dignity, and action, especially in times like these. So what this resolution proposes is that the city of Watsonville strongly condemns the use of federal military force, including the deployment of the National Guard without state's approval against immigrant communities and peaceful protesters within California. 2, the city affirms the right of all people, regardless of immigration status, to protest, assemble, and live free from fear and intimidation by armed government forces. 3, the city of Watsonville recognizes and celebrates the vital contributions of immigrants to the economic, social, and cultural fabric of our city and nation. 4, the city of Watsonville calls upon cities and counties throughout the Central Coast and across California to stand in solidarity and adopt similar resolutions denouncing the use of military force against immigrant communities and peaceful protest. The City Council urges the U.S. Congress and the California State Legislature to conduct oversight and take all appropriate actions to prevent the misuse of military power against civilians. And 6, the city clerk shall transmit copies of this resolution to Governor Gavin Newsom, Assemblymember Robert Rivas, or Speaker Robert Rivas, State Senator John Laird, and the Watsonville City Delegation to advocate for statewide unity in defense of democracy and civil rights. So with that, I am asking council for your support in moving this resolution forward. Do we have any questions from council or comments? It says city council clarifying or technical questions. Any questions from council? All right. Seeing that there's none, I'll open it up for public comment. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address council on this item?
Good evening. I'm Maria Elena de la Garza. I live in Miss Vanessa's district. I'm also the CEO of Community Action Board of Santa Cruz County. I'm also born and raised in Watsonville. And I just want to thank you, Mayor, for calling this special meeting to put forth this resolution. This is an incredibly important resolution to pass tonight in light of what is happening in California and Los Angeles, where we're all being impacted by what we're watching on the news. I can imagine, my stomach reacts, my heart reacts, my body reacts, and, there's a lot of emotion around it. But so I allowed myself to feel the feels on the weekend, and today coming here to support this resolution was part of my action to do something for this community. Your support is incredibly important. because it sends a message to the community that you value and recognize our essential workers and our immigrant families, and it really sends a message to the youth of our community. So I hope this is not a controversial decision. I hope that we don't have to advocate for this in the future. I think that this is easy. I think it's the right thing to do, and you will stand in the right side of history. Thank you.
Good evening, Council Member, Mayor Orozco, Erika Padilla Chavez, born and raised in Watsonville. Don't necessarily live inside the city of Watsonville. I live right outside the city of Watsonville, but it's a pleasure to be the CEO of your food bank, Second Harvest. But I'm here really as a native of Watsonville just to thank you for putting this before you for deliberation. This is kind of like therapy for many of us. Many of us remember being children and remember when ICE raids used to roam around our community. And so, to Maria Elena's point, that churning of the stomach has to do with that lived experience. And to live now in a nation that has given all of us an opportunity to do what we're doing in our lives and to see the militarization of our armed forces for communities of people that look like me, that look like you, when we know it's unconstitutional, I can't square that. So I'm here today to stand up to say, let's do the right thing. Let's do what is right for this community. Let's do what is right for this country, right? And I thank you for being in this leadership position at this very difficult time. You've been called to be in this position at this particular moment in history. Do right by all of us. Thank you.
Good evening, council members, Mayor Orozco. June Padilla Ponce, Executive Director of Watsonville Community Hospital Foundation, and also born and raised in this beautiful town, which we are incredibly proud of. Thank you, Mayor Orozco, for putting this on the table for discussion, and hopefully the City Council decides to do the right thing. I think I'm here as a mother of two young, wonderful boys, and I think of all the mothers and parents who worry about their children and being taken apart from their children from such acts. And I think that it's the time to think about our families. You just approved a strategic plan that is thriving. Our town is thriving. And I think the time is now to protect our families, protect our children, protect the unity, and really speak up for who we are as a city. And let's work in partnership with other neighboring cities so that our voices are heard loud and clear throughout the state to say that we stand behind our community, we stand behind who we are as a city, and we stand behind our families. So thank you so much. I hope you consider this, and thank you for your leadership and putting this together. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Orozco and City Council members. I'm Nancy Falstick, and I'm the Director of Regeneración, Pajaro Valley Climate Action. Many of you may not know that I'm a former early childhood teacher in Watsonville for many years, worked with Spanish-speaking families, kindergartners, and preschoolers. And my heart is really with this community. I want to thank you for writing such a strong and beautiful resolution, Mayor, and urge the City Council to adopt it tonight, be at the forefront of strong resistance to this type of illegal and uncalled for militarization and action in our state. I want to, look back on this moment and know that we were right there, standing up, and that we will prevail over time. This kind of illegal action is not going to continue for long in our country. We can be part of changing that. And just one other thing that I do want to throw in is The military is one of the largest contributors to climate change. It is exactly the opposite of what we need to be doing to actually preserve a livable planet. So any kind of unnecessary militarization absolutely needs to be opposed. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pam Sexton, and I'm a teacher with PVUSD. I teach at the adult school. And I want to thank you, Mayor, for putting this resolution out, and I hope that I hope it's a unanimous support for it. And I just want to take some of my time to reflect on just a few weeks ago. It was approved to increase military equipment right here, and across the country, our police forces, our law enforcement agencies are being more militarized, and it is a scary thing for our communities. So I want this resolution to pass, and I also want us to be careful about what's happening here. There was an increase of more than 100 flashbangs, or stun grenades is maybe a more appropriate term. And I just want to read a little bit from the law, AB 481. The acquisition of military equipment and its deployment in our communities adversely impacts the public safety and welfare, including increased risk of civilian deaths, significant risk to civil rights, civil liberties, physical and psychological well-being, and the incurment of significant financial costs. Military equipment is more frequently deployed in low-income Black and Brown communities, meaning the risks and impacts of police militarization are experienced most acutely in marginalized communities. Thank you for doing the right thing on this and for paying attention to increasing militarization in general. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm going to start by saying that Pam and I actually went to Grocery Outlet today when there was fear of ICE being present there. I support this resolution because I believe everyone in Watsonville deserves to live without fear, regardless of immigration status. Our community is stronger, safer, and healthier when people trust local institutions and feel safe accessing help. Decades of research show that sanctuary cities are not more dangerous. In fact, they often have lower crime rates, because people feel safe reporting crimes and cooperating with police. This policy still respects federal law. It simply ensures local police aren't being used as immigration agents. That's not their role, and it distracts from public safety. The Constitution protects the right of cities to make these kind of decisions. Courts have repeatedly upheld the ability of local governments to set their own policies with cooperation with ICE, should they so choose. That's all I have to say.
Good evening, City Council, City staff. Bobby Marchesalt, engaged citizen who lives in Area 2. Also a teacher in Watsonville and also a minister here. I want to say thank you, Mayor Roscoe, for bringing this forward. As a pacifist and a self-proclaimed progressive, I did not imagine myself standing up here and quoting a military general and defense secretary, particularly one that served under 45. But today, it's a weird world. And I saw a statement from Mr. James Mattis today speaking about this topic, and I found myself agreeing when he said militarizing our response, as we witness in Washington, D.C., sets up a conflict, a false conflict between the military and civilian society. It erodes the moral ground that ensures a trusted bond between men and women in uniform and the society they are sworn to protect and of which they themselves are a part. Keeping public order rests with civilian, state, and local leaders who best understand their communities and are answerable to them. And I couldn't agree more. And I would actually even go a step further and say it creates a false conflict between military and even our own law enforcement forces. I feel fear that they're pushing our hands locally because at some point I hope that those who've taken the oath to defend the Constitution, whether from LAPD to SFPD to Watsonville PD, when we, if this were to happen, which is crazy to think could, that protecting and serving and being peacekeepers may mean standing between the federal government and our citizens. I know that's a big thing to say, and I hope we never get there. But I hope to start that we as a city can say that this is not something we stand for. Thank you for pushing this upwards. And I just hope that we can make a difference here in Watsonville by doing so. Please make it unanimous, and thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, City staff. My name is Robbie Olson. I live on Rogers Avenue, operate a business in town, and also am a local pastor. This unprecedented and unconstitutional federalizing of the National Guard is appalling and terrifying. I have friends who have expressed to me the level of fear they feel because of their documented status or undocumented status. California is going to be the test for what the public will tolerate from the federal government. LA is step one. We have the opportunity to step up and make a strong statement that says we will not get steamrolled by the federal government. We are ready to stand up. This is our step one in response. Please support this motion. Please demonstrate your support for lawful demonstrations in our community and in our region. And please demonstrate your support for all members of our community, citizens, people with documentation, and people without. It is the American spirit to stand up to bullies, and to stand up to protect those who are most vulnerable. This is a chance to do that tonight. Thank you.
Buenas noches, Concilio. Gracias, Alcalde, por esta resolución. Thank you, Mayor, for this resolution that you put forward, and I hope the City Council supports you and supports the community. I stand with all those folks that spoke so eloquently. I am not a teacher. I am not an executive director. I am not a pastor. I am a community member, and I am a migrant. Their family migrated here. I'm a first generation. I picked those fields, and I can recall when my brother-in-law was chased by immigration customs agents, right? Immigration custom agents, and now they're being called police ICE, right? And that scares me because our community sees those vests broadcast on television, police, right? And so that scares a lot of our community members because now they're putting the police and the police together, right? And one thing we must remember, that the fraternal brotherhood of police support this tyrant. They agree with what he does, okay? So we must be watchful for what movements they're making and for what movements this administration's making. Because just as Owens Hebney said, this is just the first step. Sure, they're using the immigrant as a scapegoat. But you must remember what the tyrant said. These leftist insurrections must be dealt with, right? The people, the leftists in California, must be dealt with. That's what he said himself, this tyrant. And so that includes all of us. Everybody that's a Democrat, in his eye, is an insurgent, right? We want to throw over this government. And so this is his first step, like they said. And the immigrant is just an scapegoat. He's trying to use this, and I say it because he wants to declare war against us. Thank you.
Buenas noches. Gracias, alcaldesa, for putting this on. I agree with everybody what he said. I don't know what else. I mean, this is so obvious. You know, people have been calling me and saying, so what do we do? So when I heard what you're going to do tonight, I feel so proud. I feel so proud of being a part of this city. And, you know, we are small, you know, we're a small town, right? You know, not too small. But if you compare to, let's look at the world. What we're going to do here tonight, what you're going to do here tonight, this small little step is going to be a gigantic step in the whole world. In the whole world. Because in the whole world it's asking, what the heck is going on in the United States? What is going on? Have they gone cuckoo? No, we have not gone cuckoo. It's the president who's cuckoo. We are good people. And the immigrant has made this country for what it is. And this country, see, we forget. I think because they try to distort, that's why they want to do away with all those books, right? Because they really want to distort the history of all the immigrants that have made this country what it is today. And we're proud of all the immigrants. I'm an immigrant. And we should be more proud. But we definitely are not supportive of somebody that in January 6th saw what he saw, that they were beating up the cops. They were beating up. They were taking, and they wanted to take over the country. And what did he do? He didn't do nothing. So what a hypocrite. He's a liar. So that's what he is. And he's trying to right now divert the attention to what is going on. Because that's the whole question, diverting the attention of what he wants to do with those cuts of all the people and give all those benefits to the super rich. So let's not fall for it. I am very proud of you. Thank you. Adelante.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. I'm Pete Howley, a 22-year resident here of Watsonville. And I wanted to invite you all, and actually everybody in the room here, to join us this Saturday from noon to 2 at the plaza for a No Kings protest. So I think if we have our elected officials attend such events, that really says so much and really shows the type of leadership that I think we need in the community to really get us to a better place. And as part of that, I really do appreciate the motion that you're about to vote on, and I hope that it's unanimous. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you know, I'm also born and raised here. You know, mom worked in La Caneria, you know, pops La Lechuga, you know, the whole family, you know, and we talk about these type of things and I really do appreciate the effort, right, of putting something out there, at least, you know. But I also want to see that being taken an extra step forward here locally. Because militarism, that violence that's happening, this physical violence is not the only type of violence that our community is facing, you know. We're also facing the violence of poverty here in this city. So I hope it's not just something like an empty resolution, you know, which I know it's not. You know, I hope that if we're really thinking about our community, right, and how to protect our community, how to, you know, protect those workers, that next generation, you know, and yeah, how do we uplift the economic vitality and the better quality of life of Watsonville, you know? And going back to one of the speakers also talked about, you know, the militarization or paramilitarization of our local police departments, right? It's something that we have to think about too. It's the same coin. So I wish I could say what I want to say about Trump and all that stuff, but you know what? The people have the right to protect themselves, and we will do so too if they come here, you know? So.
You know who I am. Kirby Harris, District 7. I want to thank all of you for bringing this resolution. I'm proud of you guys. And I strongly urge you to pass it. I would also like to invite and to see all of you at the rally on Saturday from 12 to 2 at the City Plaza Park to support our democracy, our right to free speech, to free assembly, to all of our rights, and to the protection of everyone. Our immigrants, legal, illegal, green card, American citizens, we all deserve protections, and that's in our Constitution, and it's being shredded as we speak. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you all for coming and sharing your thoughts with all of us. So now I'll bring it back to council for a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, please. Oh, sorry, discussion. It's been a long day. Member Quiroz Carter.
Thank you, Mayor. I need a minute to collect my thoughts, but we don't have a minute, so I'm just going to say what I need to say. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm really angry and upset about what's happening in our country. And I keep hearing people talk about how we need to be peaceful and how we need to be nonviolent. No. We are staring down fascism, and the time for nonviolence has gone. The American people are the guardrails against a system that has failed us, and we need to realize that. If you're waiting for alarm bells to go off, they're going off, okay? The smoke is here. Alarms are off. We need to act. I'm proud of the city of Los Angeles. I know some people may disagree with what they've seen or the methods, but violence, as someone said, isn't just burning property. Violence is starving children. Violence is genocide. Violence is poverty. Violence is militarization of the police. Violence is a lot of things. And I think that the American people need to wake up and understand what is at risk, because every day we're waking up and we're going to work and we're pretending like nothing's wrong, and something is very, very, very wrong. And you are the guardrails. You are the ones that are going to make it happen. We have been failed by our government, and you are our last defense. So I want you to think about that, read the Constitution, know your rights, and be prepared to defend our democracy by any means necessary. I know I am. I swore an oath to the Constitution. I swore to protect against enemies foreign and domestic, and I will tell you that Donald Trump and his ilk are enemies. They are domestic enemies that are determined to topple us from the inside out. So I just want to say thank you all for being here tonight. And again, we need to be ready to protect ourselves by any means necessary, because this is fascism. This is not a joke. This is not 1930s. This is right now. This is history. We are living it, and we have the opportunity to set ourselves on course, but it's going to take some hard, ugly, difficult work in order to do that. And we can't be polite about it. We can't tiptoe. It's here, and it's going to stay unless we all hands on deck, unless all of us together, regardless of your party, regardless of your beliefs, we need to come together. Being an American means you don't get to judge other people's lifestyles. You don't get to judge other people's choices. That's freedom. That's the American way. And we need to stand up for the things that we believe in and really, really fight for them. So I'm just really tired of hearing people say, you know, we have to be pleasant, we have to be polite. No, fascism, we literally have to fight. So sorry that was a little bit jumbled, but I'm angry, and every day I'm doing all the things that I can. I'm writing letters, I'm you know, sending Instagrams, and I'm doing all the things. Do what you can, take care of yourselves. We're in a really scary place, and we have to just continue if we want to see our country survive, because this is something completely unprecedented. Thank you for your time.
Councilmember Ari Parker.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm somewhat in agreement with you. I'm extremely angry. All weekend I've been angry, and I've had a lot of arguments with a lot of different people all weekend because I just retired as a teacher Friday. That doesn't, yes, thank you. After 38 years, but hearing some of the things that I heard, sending ICE into elementary school promotion ceremonies, I mean, that just broke my heart because we had one on Friday and all I could think of is the families. And so I went from a broken heart to being extremely, anger is not enough. I was infuriated about how much, I'm a Democrat, yeah, but I'm somebody who was hoping that we could continue to move forward. There would be bumps along the road in the next 4 years because I've lived 62 years in the United States and I've seen it, good, bad. We elect somebody new, we go back to do it. But this man is something different. And he ignores the rights of the states. He ignores the Constitution. He ignores our governor, and I hope every single governor out there in all 50 states, I think, or the other 49, are paying attention because this is a litmus test for the United States, and he's taking on California, an easy target, he thinks, because of all the red states. I have cousins in the red states who like to say, you're a Californian, you know, and joke about it. Yet they were born here, and they moved there, and now they talk differently. We had a lot of discussion. They're thinking, oh my God, we're gonna have to leave our state and move back to California. This is who, you know, this is what's going on. I worry about the California Guards people, men and women, who were born and raised here, who are being used as tools by our president to incite violence, to incite somebody being hurt, so he can use that as an excuse to call us insurrectionists. I'm just, and I understand that this resolution, although it has no bearing upon the federal law or public, and we've had a lot of them over the years, I understand that it is a philosophical statement of who we are as a country. I do not want to see violence. But I still think in every way possible, we need to fight back. And I pray that the courts, and I know people have told me I'm naive, but that the courts themselves provide what the checks and balances of our country were designed for, which is put a stop to this. Show everyone, not only in the world, but the country, show every single citizen that what's going on. What did you do when you invited this man into the White House again? What did you do? It's his agenda. It's not the agenda of the United States of America. It's not the agenda of our Constitution. It's his own agenda. And I can't tell you the disappointment and the anger that I feel, but I will be supporting this resolution. Absolutely, and I don't need anybody to clap for me on it because I think it's absolutely important for all of us at this point to support the Constitution of the United States. And that's what I'm going to do.
Anyone else? Councilmember Dutra?
I don't know how far I'll get through this. This whole subject makes me very emotional. So I find myself crying a lot watching what we're doing to our people. And, taking kids into custody to get to their parents, that's sick. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. I've grown up here my whole life. I come from, my mom is Mexican American, my dad is Portuguese American. So I remember the days I grew up with parents who had a ranch, and we cultivated berries. And I remember the days as a child of people running through just screaming La Migra, running for their, it was really traumatizing there as a child to watch, and now to see it escalated to what it's become today. I feel like there have been years that we as Americans have been working on, programs for people to come over and work, because, come on, people, who's working in our fields? Who's working in our restaurants? Who's working in our hotels? We are affecting a whole, they are servicing Americans, and many of them are here for the American dream. They want to be a part of it. So this narrative of we're arresting the criminals and arresting, the really bad people, maybe there are a few in there, but you would think that, people, if they were that bad, they wouldn't be on the streets right now. So what they are arresting are people at Home Depot. And they're, they're trying to instill chaos into our lives. And this is all part of a bigger plan, right? He wants this chaos so that, when he can start instilling martial law or whatever needs to happen to prevent us from moving forward, from pausing our elections. These are things that we have to really be watching out for. I see a lot of the regular activists who come to our meetings, and but there have been a lot of movements lately, and a lot of people who join these movements are Latinos. You see Latinos out there. They've been out there. I've watched them. They've been backing up all these movements. And right now, I am calling on those people who have been supported by the Latino community. You need to join in, because I'm seeing just a lot of, it is time to join in with the Latinos, because the Latino community has been through all these movements, and I'm watching the news, and it's a lot of brown people on there, and there needs to be a lot more diversity when it comes to who's helping stand up for the Latino community right now. So I'm just putting that out there. But I will too be supporting this tonight. Earlier this evening, I know some of you did not hear, but the city of Watsonville joined the San Francisco lawsuit against Donald J. Trump. So that was announced earlier. So we've already taken that measure, and I appreciate you bringing this forward, because people need to be treated with dignity and respect. And even if you're undocumented, it doesn't mean you're lesser of a person. So we need to be moving forward, thinking of people as humans. Because right now, I don't see humanity. I honestly, I don't. I've been, lately, the last several years, I've seen how people treat each other. I'll be honest with you, Democrats aren't even all that nice sometimes. So it's not about party. It's about being a human being. If you're either a good person and you treat somebody respectful, or you're not. There are good Republicans that treat people respectfully. There are good Democrats that treat people respectfully. But there are also people in those parties too that do not. So we have to really think about ourselves and how we treat others. And this, as we move forward, we're looking at a community of people who feel scared right now. And wherever you stand on the playing field of being undocumented or documented, however we move forward, you have to treat people like humans. And we don't see that right now. So I am 100% behind this. So thank you, Mayor, for bringing it.
Anyone else? All right, so I think I already said enough as part of the presentation, but I guess I will end with this. This resolution really reaffirms our values, that dignity is not optional, that democracy is not negotiable, and that compassion is our moral compass. So with that, do we have a motion? No, motion and a second. Can we please have roll call?
Clark,
Aye.
Dutra,
Aye.
Montesino,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Quiroz Carter,
Aye.
and Orozco.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Okay, and so before we close out, I know you have an update for us, really quick. No, we're fine. Okay. Thank you, council, for your support, and with that, meeting adjourned.